Why do you want the dance age reduced, Mr. Amy?
Well, only one of our dances is affected by this age limit, and that is our Sunday night dance, whereby teenagers under the age of 18 are not allowed in. Our main problem is that we find it almost impossible to discern the age of a young girl who says she's 17. We have no comeback on that, we can't argue with it, and I think that it's a little unfair that a hotel ballroom manager should be responsible for 400 people dancing in his ballroom. If they say they're 18, there's nothing we can do about it.
But now you want the age brought down to 16. Surely if you get it down to 16, you'll have the 14-year-olds coming along.
I don't think so. Again, it's only one dance in the week is involved, and it's so much easier to know a 14-year-old from a 16-year-old.
You think you'll have less trouble, so if you get the age
down?
Much
less trouble, yes. And the main thing is that we are not then responsible for this question of under 18.
It's not a question of the commercial aspect of it.
No, certainly not. But of course, then I think that the question should lie with the parents. If they're agreeable on a majority to letting the teenagers in under the age of 18, well, then I think it should be allowed. We have nothing to gain by it personally, but I'd imagine that the big commercial ballrooms would have something to gain by it.
Well, Mr. Max Muldoon is manager of one of the largest ballrooms in Ireland, the Jetland here in Limerick. Have you the same problem there, Mr. Muldoon?
Well, it's very hard to distinguish ages now at the present time, where the teenagers do themselves up with hairstyles and that. But I don't think it rests with the hall to stop them. I think it's up to their parents.
And have you had parents coming down and saying you shouldn't have your children in dancing?
No, the only ones I've had down is parents of teenagers who I stopped. They came down and wanted to know why I stopped them.
Now, what do the teenagers think?
I don't agree reducing it to 16, but to 17. They're only school children at the age of 16.
No, I don't think that the age limit should be reduced at all for commercial dancehall purposes. If the younger generation, the 16-year-olds want dancing, that they should have their own socials, but they shouldn't be admitted to the commercial dance halls.
Well, I'm 16 and I think that there should be more teenage dances for teenagers in Limerick. But if the parents allow the teenagers to go to the dance halls to mix with the older crowd, I think they should go.
I think it depends on the individual girl. I mean, some girls left school at 16 and they have nothing else to do at night but go dancing.
I think if the dance is especially organised with teenagers, they should be allowed to go.
I think it depends on yourself whether what your point of view on the whole thing, and if you have a way of coming home from the dance in the dark, and the town is dangerous, I believe, out in the outlying districts.
You can get married at 14, but we've got to wait until we're 18 to get dancing. So I think it's ridiculous. It should be reduced to 16.
And for a last word, we'll have an old friend of ours, Mrs. Frances Condell, former mayor of Limerick. What do you think?
Oh, Arthur, well, thank you very much for this opportunity, because it's something that I feel quite strongly about. We are apt to criticise our teenagers quite considerably, but I feel that no criticism is worth anything unless we have an alternative to offer. And therefore, I think that if we are not to allow our teenagers to dance at the age of 16, we as adults and responsible citizens must offer them alternative enjoyment. Personally, I suppose if I had a daughter age 16, I'd probably be very slow to allow her to dance at 16. But then children grow up much quicker than they did in my youth, and for that reason perhaps I should be a little more lenient nowadays.